I have like speakers come in to like, our first one was a phase one. What is a phase one? Like, we're all very new. We don't know what things are. What's a phase two? How do you identify a sprinkler system in a building? Stuff like that. I just, I know a lot of other rookies are in the same shoe as me, so I decided to create that.
NAI Global presents How's Biz?
Greetings, this is the NAI Global How's Biz podcast. I'm your host, Gary Marsh. Today's guest is Bhagyesha Darji. She's an agent, a rookie, we should say, with NAI Chase Commercial in Huntsville, Alabama. Welcome to the program, Bhagyesha.
Thanks, Gary. Glad to be here.
We're glad you're here. So we met at one of the conventions, and what struck me immediately is that you're going to a national convention. You're a rookie, but you've been in the business a while. And so when we say rookie, literally, I believe it was January of this year, 2023, when you first started becoming a commercial real estate agent.
Actually, right? February 1st. And then on the 3rd, I was on the plane to Vegas.
Okay, so
I think it was the 3rd, yeah.
You couldn't have been any newer.
Right.
But you've been with Chase, NAI Chase Commercial for some time on the accounting finance side, correct?
Mm-hmm. Since, March 2021 is when I became the assistant controller at Chase. Prior to that, Chase was my client when I was in public accounting. So I've been doing taxes for Charlie and the crew for about 4 years. And then I kind of came to the Chase team to do accounting and absolutely hated it. So I got my license.
So now that you're in brokerage, we've heard you participate in some multifamily investment calls, the retail council. Are you just getting your footing as a broker, or what are you working on? And so far, what is this, 6 months into the business?
Yes. Getting my foot in just about everything. That's kind of what I wanted to do, just dabble in different industries and see what I like. I'm with my financial background gearing towards liking more of the investment sales. So I get to do an analysis. Fun fact, it took me 35 hours, but I made this killer spreadsheet for this proposal we had on this huge manufacturing. So doing that, I'm doing some retail. I did my first restaurant. It was crazy. I didn't know what a hood was or a grease trap, but working on my second restaurant and hopefully got a third in the pipeline. I just got a pretty good email about that. And doing some office. Office was actually my first deal. And then dabbling in multifamily. I'm interested in hospitality, but really the investment sales side is, I think, what I'm leaning towards. I've done some industrial. I just sold an industrial building in Arab, Alabama. So doing a little bit of everything right now.
Well, good for you. Well, Huntsville is it really a tertiary market or is it secondary?
I would say tertiary market.
Well, then, and certainly from your colleagues within your office, it's very common within the NAI Global family of companies and offices that when you're in a tertiary market, you do a little of everything because it's the nature of where you live. It's a smallish community and people have state needs. And if, unlike bigger markets, if you choose to specialize in one sector, you may go hungry some months because there's not that much work to do in that sector all the time.
Exactly. And it's the opposite here. You kind of have to do a little bit of everything in this market.
So are you part of a team, or is somebody within the NAI Chase Commercial Company mentoring you on the brokerage side?
Yeah, so I'm actually Doug McCullough, which half of NAI knows. He's my mentor. He's our qualifying broker, and I also work on his little, we call it the A team. So it's me, Wilson Insland, Clark Todd, Doug McCullough, and then Doug McCullough's son, Junior, and then Gabe Alonzo is like our marketing guy. So we all kind of work together as a team.
Well, that's wonderful. And again, with your financial background, was the pitch that you talked about with your manufacturing prospect, is that with the McCullough A team, and were you basically working on that spreadsheet on behalf of the team?
The spreadsheet was kind of just between me and another broker. We don't do all of our deals, together. I have some, but I have been teaming up with Doug just because I don't feel comfortable doing deals by myself. I don't feel that I'm like qualified, I guess, in a way. But I basically just do it, run with it, and then I go to Doug for any questions anytime. I can call him at 9:30 p.m. and he'll answer his phone.
Well, that's appropriate. I mean,
Yeah.
You and the audience knows I'm not a broker, but I've been in outside commercial sales, and when I was your age, I was selling pretty technical equipment that I knew literally nothing about.
Yeah.
So I had two people I called, one in the factory back in Wisconsin and one down in Southern California, and they were my experts, and there was no way I could have done that business without them. So you're doing a normal procession of learning what you need to know, your craft, as it were, for the business.
Right. And I believe so. And I'm learning just so much just being around Doug every day. It's just incredible. And I actually am a part of NALCOM, so it's like North Alabama Commercial Realtors. I'm on the board, and there's other brokers from other firms, and I like talk to them. I actually started a program called the Rookies, because I like sports, and I was like, okay, well, I'm a rookie, and we define that as someone who has less than 5 years experience in commercial real estate. So I started the Rookies, and we've had pretty good turnouts. We actually have a rookies meeting tomorrow, so it's just a lunch social thing. I didn't want it to be like so stiff tie, like just chill, relax, like let's complain, let's learn. And I have like speakers come in to like our first one was a phase one. What is a phase one? Like, we're all very new. We don't know what things are. What's a phase two? How do you identify a sprinkler system in a building? Stuff like that. I just, I know a lot of other rookies are in the same shoe as me. So I decided to create that. And I just, I talked to them, and I believe I have the best mentor in town, in the world.
That's a great idea, Bhagyesha. So congratulations for taking the initiative.
Yeah.
I don't want to assume it, and I don't want listeners to be in the dark about it. These are all rookie commercial realtors, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So everyone in commercial real estate that has less than 5 years experience in commercial.
And is it limited to Huntsville and Madison's nearby? I know that's a city nearby. Is it how does that work out?
Well, it's really, we're the North Alabama chapter, and since COVID happened, we kind of are revamping it. This is our like guinea pig year of it, like picking up where the old NALCOM board members left off. So we're actually having like weekly 2-hour meetings just to get our bearings straight, and then we'll do the monthly board meetings. But yeah, so it's just North Alabama. We see Madison, Huntsville, not really any Coleman brokers, but my goal is to expand. I want a NALCOM chapter everywhere.
Good for you. Smart. And I think it's generational. Not that us more mature people were averse to collaboration. That's certainly part and parcel, especially if you come from a sporting background, as many of us have. But maybe it speaks to your generation about the share culture and, just being candid about what you don't know, but willing and interested to learn.
Yeah. And I think it's, at the end of the day, everyone in that room is my competition. But I think if we're fair, honest, there's plenty of deals to go around. Like, no one has to, feel like we're giving away too much. And it's just all common stuff that I talk about with my friends at dinner that aren't in commercial. So I don't really have anyone to talk to about things I go through. Just very basic level commercial real estate stuff. We don't really get into, things that would enable too much competition. You know what I mean? Like reveal names of owners and stuff like that. It's just like basic commercial real estate stuff.
Well, for other rookies and people considering careers in commercial real estate, which is part of the work that we do, is to advocate for, and certainly for me as a past trustee of the SIOR Foundation, where we promote careers in real estate among young people. When I was younger and a newspaper reporter covering the industry of real estate, it was amazing to me, and it's one of the reasons I'm personally in the industry. But it sounds like this is also appealing to you. is I would see mostly men in Silicon Valley, which was my market at the time, who competed with each other. There were different firms. They beat each other up to get deals. And then we're at some business event and they're in the bar together drinking. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And so you can compete fiercely, but you can still have a decent relationship with these people, which is cool.
Yeah, at the end of the day, hey, we're all just trying to put food on the table. For me, I'm trying to buy my Corvette, but it's just, I truly believe, what goes around comes around, goes around, whatever that saying. It's like, if you're good, karma, don't spoil anything over one deal. There'll be hundreds of deals.
There you go.
And
That's
for
great
me,
attitude.
truly, it's really not about the money. I just want to fulfill my clients' needs, like the smile on their faces, the compliments they give me. I love. It's worth more than money.
There you go. Well, we have to ask the question, what color will the Corvette be?
White, and it's gonna be white, like pearl white with like blacked out rims and trimmings.
You talked about business and networking, so that's one of the questions we always like to ask. What other sort of networks are you doing? But before we leave the subject of what kind of real estate you're pursuing, I believe I heard you on the call the other day. It was a multifamily investment capital markets call, talking about a certain client that you're running with that's looking for a certain product type. So why don't you talk about that?
Yeah, so I have a client looking for a up and running hotel that's, kind of by a management company, run through a management company anywhere in the US. They're retired, they're just looking, they're bored, they just want to, have this big investment in a hotel and just like kind of collect their monthly income. And they have been in the hotel business for about 30 plus years. So they definitely know how to read, the star reports and the occupancy reports to see if that hotel is worth, one, investing in, two, keeping their investment in. So they're very familiar with the hotel industry. They're just looking for a hotel to buy anywhere in the US. So they would go there once a month, collect the reports, make sure everything's going smoothly.
Got it. Is there a size range or dollar range they're looking for, whether it's units, 100 units, 50 to
Yeah.
100?
Yeah, the units, I would say like a Hampton Inn, a Comfort Inn, maybe a Hyatt Plaza, anywhere under, I'd say anywhere around the 4 to 7 million range.
Okay, it's good to know.
Yeah.
All right, that's good. Well, good luck with that, and
Thank you.
And make sure you use your outreach to the NEI Global Network people, because there's others that do hospitality work, as you
Will
probably
do.
have begun to learn since you're again doing the brokerage side. Speaking of which, we wanted to go back to how you got in the business and your interest early from an accounting perspective. You're Indian American. Your parents are first generation Americans that immigrated here decades ago, I believe. Is that correct?
Yep. So my dad was 18 when he immigrated here from India. He actually went to Chicago first, and he'll be 65 this year. So they've been here a minute.
And your mother as well?
I think my mom was like, well, my dad came here when he was 18, and then he went back to India to marry my mom, and then they hopped on over, I think like 1986.
Okay, cool.
When mom came over, yeah.
Well, we all have an immigration background some way or the other here in the United States.
Right.
So let's shift to talking about current market conditions. We're in a changing economy. There's been a threat of recession for a year, and knock on wood, it's not materializing per se. But again, you're in a very active community. I believe you also mentioned on the call, the multifamily call the other day, that you're essentially oversupplied with multifamily construction.
Right.
Why is Huntsville growing so much?
Because we're awesome. Since my born and raised here, so I really do think highly of Huntsville. I think our main factor is that we have the arsenal here. Redstone Arsenal, Cummings Research Park, we have all the engineers. We have really good educated people in this town. And They, give to a lot of charities, and they really want to see the town grow. And a lot of engineers are really into music. I see a lot of them in bands, like there's garage bands they do on the side. So it's an interesting time in Huntsville. Being born and raised here, just seeing it grow, it's incredible. And now I get to have a hand in it. It's just, I have no words. But when COVID happened, we have a big development where the Trash Panda, our baseball team, plays, and the Angels are actually our like top team for the Trash Panda. So Town Madison is where that area is called. And during COVID, we had people, companies that wanted to come in kind of pull back. In 2020, they're like, hey, just pump the brakes. We're not interested. And then months went on and they realized, hey, actually, Huntsville has done better during COVID as opposed to other cities. So we say we're in a little bubble. I'm not sure how long till that bubble busts, hopefully when I'm retired. But yeah, everyone says we're in a little bubble. And those same companies that kind of pulled out are now like, hey, do you still have that land? Well, like we want to come in. So yeah, it's been really, it's been tough starting out. I started during the not so great time during the recession and, financial crisis, if you will, with high interest rates, but we're not slowing down. The only thing that's slowing down is office, where everyone is. Our Class A office is doing really well, especially by the Arsenal. Class B, Class C are the ones that, are staying on the market longer. Retail's going like crazy, industrial's going like crazy, and multifamily, we just built a lot of apartments and now they're like, okay, well, just let's see, let's get them built first and then see, what happens. But really, we're just running out of land. So my goal is to kind of expand, just pinpoint Huntsville and then go outside in a little circle. So north, south, east, and west of Huntsville, those small little towns, we're seeing an increase of growth, people moving there, retail shopping centers appearing in Hazel Green. If anyone knows anything about Huntsville, Hazel Green's north of us. It's crazy. They just got a Dunkin' Donuts there. So,
well, it's a classic American growth type story. I mean, certainly right now, Dallas Fort Worth is, I mean, I believe it's a 50-mile circumference of growth, east, west, north, south. That's how Phoenix has grown over the years, especially when you're in a landmass area like the desert of Phoenix, where there's no geographical physical restraint from growth. So it sounds like you have the same opportunity. And if we were surfing and we're on a wave, then we'd say, as long as the wave's going, let's keep riding it, right?
Right, for sure.
So good for you. But for most of us that don't know that your community, maybe tell us what the Arsenal is.
Okay, so Redstone Arsenal. So years ago, I'm not really good at history, but Werner von Braun, he was a German scientist. He's actually a Nazi, but he actually came to Huntsville to study space and science, and that's kind of how the Arsenal got built. The Army came here, Corps of Engineers, and we have NASA, we have the Marshall Space Center, of course, Blue Origin's here. We just have a bunch of companies that do government contracting, huge government contracting area.
Well, and I believe, I'm looking it up as we speak, Werner von Braun was very instrumental in, he's called the father of space travel.
Yeah.
So an engineer, and even now you have, so don't you have one of the Elon Musk rocket companies in the Huntsville area?
Yeah, Blue Origin.
Okay, so you still have that engineering culture. So that's what drives a lot of your industry. And then I guess the other big potential is for is it Space Command from Colorado Springs?
I'm sorry, Blue Origin is Jeff Bezos' company, not Elon. SpaceX is here. Yeah.
Oh, it's SpaceX there, and that's Elon company,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And Blue Origin's Jeff Bezos.
Yes.
I guess this is what's the trend with rich guys with their rocket ships. I mean, that's, I like the more humble aspiration of having a white Corvette.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I keep it simple. I didn't say Bugatti, didn't say Ferrari, but I think that's a goal I can probably get to. I've always loved Corvettes.
All right, cool. So in other words, the engineering culture, the talent, this is what's always talked about with employment growth is there the talented material or human resources to grow businesses. And it sounds like you've got that in spades in Huntsville.
Right. Yeah. So, we have all this high income individuals here. And to be honest, cost of living is way better. I'm giving away all my secrets. Everyone's going to move here. Cost of living, just no brokers can move here. Okay. Cost of living is super low here compared to, other markets like Huntsville. We do have like plenty of land. Your neighbors aren't too close to each other. Driving from Madison, one end of Huntsville to the other end of Huntsville, you can do it in about 20 minutes. Traffic hasn't gotten too bad yet. We're working on our roads, building more overpasses. Things are just cheaper here, and it's just more like carefree, and we're finally getting more entertainment. And the Orion Amphitheater, which Ben Lovett is a co-founder. He was in Mumford and Sons, the band. So pretty cool things just with the entertainment side, which brings people. It's funny, we used to drive up to Nashville for concerts, and now people are driving from Nashville to Huntsville to go to concerts at the Orion. It's pretty
cool. Well, the same thing happened years ago with Chattanooga. When Chattanooga, Tennessee got on the map, it became a music venue destination and started to draw people away from Nashville a little bit, or a good other alternative town for bands to, hone their craft, so to speak.
Oh, for sure. That's a good point, Gary. Like I feel like we're like the Chattanooga of Alabama, and we surpassed Birmingham in population, I think in 2021.
What is the approximate metro area population?
I am gonna have to Google that. Let's see.
All right, while you're doing that, I'll
about 216K.
Oh, that's a nice sized community. Okay. Yeah, it's
and the metro is like 500, 500 million.
Yeah. I live in a similar sized community, and it's nice. Has a city quality, but it's still sort of rural in some places, and it feels small towny in some places as well.
Exactly.
That's cool. What was I going to ask? The other thing I wanted to know about is, and again, since you're new in brokerage, the financial piece, and you don't have to tell too many of your monetary secrets, but
no bank account numbers.
Yeah, it's typically hard to transition into commission sales, regardless of the industry. And back in the day, you could be selling copiers, and it's hard to go from a payroll job to a commission job. You're still new into it, so how are you financially making the transition from a paycheck to commissions?
Yeah, so this is the first time ever in my life. I've been working since I was 16, 15. That's a fun fact. Maybe if we have time, I'll tell you all about my first paycheck. But I've always had a biweekly salary. I've always been on salary. So when I made the change, when I made up my mind I wanted to go to brokerage, I did a budget, of course, did an Excel spreadsheet, and I just budgeted really, really, really low numbers. Like I budgeted zero income for my first year, and I've already made deals. So I'm already doing better than the budget suggests. And I'm a little spoiled. My parents, if I needed to, can back me. If I ran out of money, like they wouldn't let me just, go hungry or poor. And I also made a very wise investment in 2018 of buying my house in 5 Points, like downtown Huntsville. And I'm sitting on a gold mine. So if I ever had to live under a bridge, I could sell my house and be right back on top.
Well, let's avoid the that scenario. Well, that's smart, and it's not uncommon at all for to have family assistance. So you're
Yeah, and I haven't needed it this far, but it's very comforting I'm very blessed, not spoiled. I'm not spoiled. Sorry, edit that out. I'm very blessed to have, them here. They live here, and they're like, hey, if you fall, we got you. But yeah, it's been well so far.
Let's talk in closing. Let's just talk about your short-term outlook for your business. It sounds very promising given the bubbly market that you're in, but Bhagyesha, where do you kind of see yourself 5 years from now?
Hopefully I'm in my Corvette by then. I see myself definitely working with like buyers and sellers in investment sales, basically, trying to get out of, the 2,000 square foot leases, which I know I got to do. I'm new. But that's not the stuff that I think I bring value to. Sometimes I find myself just saying, do you want it or not? Oh my gosh, it's like not, but when you're working with a buyer seller of, their building, it's their livelihood, and you can show them numbers and explain to them like how to read an income statement, the numbers behind why I'm saying what I'm telling you to do. I love that. And there's not too many brokers that even know how to read an income statement.
There you go.
Sorry, brokers. I'm sure no NAI brokers. It's all the other ones.
Yeah, that's right. Well, you use what you have as your best tools in your toolkit, and you've got some things that other people don't. So back when I was a young learning salesperson, is my teachers and mentors taught me in growing the book to use the baseball metaphor. Your 2,000 square foot deal is the same as hitting a single. So when you're working on your book of business, hit your singles, hit your doubles, but work on those triples and home runs, and work on the grand slams, but also the walk-off grand slam in the bottom of the ninth. Those are
That'd be awesome. I just got the chills, Gary. Yeah, and I'm actually going to our baseball game tonight, so.
Well, see, now you'll think about that, won't you?
I'm going to be thinking of the runs in terms of deals.
Well, that's a good way to keep motivated. So, well, I think, Bhagyesha, we could probably talk for a while, but our time for the podcast should adjourn. So, Bhagyesha Darji with NAI Chase Commercial in Huntsville, Alabama, you've been a delightful guest. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Gary.
Thanks for tuning in to How's Biz, presented by NAI Global. Review, share, subscribe, and keep an eye out for the next episode.